Now, please tell me, what is my duty in this liberated state? So this is the mood, just like Arjuna. He admitted his defeat. He had come to awaken, to realize the reality of his condition, his situation. He understood that actually I don't know what is good for me, what is beneficial, what to do, what not to do. Everything you think of, everything you're trying to do is not working properly, materially or spiritually. Then devotee becomes exhausted, frustrated, actually convinced that there's nothing they can think of or plan that will counter or get out of trouble that's caused by this material life, action, reaction, sinful reaction. And so they're humbled, they admit their defeat. They actually admit, I'm thinking I'm smart, I think I know what's best for me. People say I'm smart, people say I'm learned, but actually my life is like this. So I admit my defeat, so now please tell me what is best for me, what is my duty in this liberated state. So this is the start of one who is realizing that they're a disciple, they're servant of Krishna. This is the point that one must come to in order to fully surrender, and then also to be able to be given instructions directly from the Lord, either by Krishna to Arjuna, or in this case, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. But the mood of the disciple, of the one who's to receive the instructions, is very similar. They came to the same similar realization about the nature of material life. Raja, Dhamma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So they're not running after so-called religiosity. They're not trying to get economic development, how to better your economic, materialistic situation so that you can enjoy selfishly yourself, your family, your community. They're already beyond that. They already realize all of that is krishna-katha. It's all really just the source. Every bit of little pleasure is the source of your future suffering condition. And that all this so-called happiness, Krishna says, one who's intelligent, they understand this has a beginning and an end. And for a little bit of pleasure, the price is too high, and it's temporary anyway. So it really doesn't work. And so they're already at the stage of moksha, looking for liberation. Of course, moksha isn't the final goal, but Prabhupada said, first try to liberate yourself. First try to even chant Namabhas, then you become liberated. And then beyond that is Supremanam, where you develop love for Krishna and pure bhakti. So now tell me, he's asking, that what is my duty now in this liberated state? So first it was, how do you get to the liberated state, right? So Krishna's instructions are, how do you get to the liberated state? How do you understand the nature of the material world, materialism? Then how do you get out of that? How do you even get to moksha? But here, Sanatana Goswami is saying, now I'm already liberated by your mercy. Now in a liberated state, now what should I do? So Prabhupada is explaining that the first instructions was from Krishna to Arjuna, and these instructions from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami is the next stage beyond the instructions that Krishna gave to Arjuna. So this mood is very much important because people say, why you can't hear anything, why nothing is working, why? Because we didn't meet the preliminary threshold or requirement to qualify ourselves to receive and understand the instructions. So the whole mood, humility, admitting your defeat, admitting that we're puffed up, we're arrogant, we really don't know what is beneficial for us. This whole type of mood of realization and admittance that we failed, that we're failing, that we don't know what's in our best interest. Krishna says that, Prabhupada says that conditioned soul doesn't know what to do, what not to do. And so that state of consciousness cannot be theoretical. That has to be practically realized. So as long as we're running after dharma, artha, kama, money and sense gratification, material enjoyment, material desire, material attachment, we've not got to the point where we're actually ready to surrender to Krishna, to accept instruction from Krishna, from spiritual master, because we're not done, we're not finished, we're not exhausted, we're not frustrated, we're not convinced yet, we've not admitted our defeat. We're still acting rebellious, independent. We think we're smart, we think we have a good plan, we think we can manage on our own. So while Arjuna was thinking like that he's going to figure it all out, Prabhupada said he's skillfully trying to avoid surrendering. So Krishna, as spiritual master, he did not preach to Arjuna. He knows he's acting in Maya. He's bewildered. He wants to help his friend. He has all the answers to help his friend, but the friend's not ready. So he has to just let him exhaust himself, tie himself up in a big knot, become more and more bewildered, more and more exhausted, more and more frustrated. And that's the whole purpose of the material experience, ultimately. All the miseries, all the trouble, a little bit of pleasure, with the consequence of unlimited suffering and pain. Like, what's all that all about? And every time trying to make adjustments, and then there is no real adjustment. So we're coming to the conclusion. Yesterday we talked about how the piercing of material life and the suffering, anxiety, so much anxiety, so much exhaustion, so much disappointment. This all is very, very helpful for the spiritual life because it's forcing every soul ultimately to surrender to Krishna. So Maya is doing thankless tasks because she's putting heavy, heavy lashes in order to purify us, in order to teach us, to make us ask questions. Why is it like this? Why am I suffering? What is the point of my life? What's the purpose of the life? It says if you don't ask those questions, you're not in the human consciousness. So the animals are not asking those questions. They're just trying to pursue animalistic instinct. But the human being is meant to ask certain questions. Who am I? How did I get here? What's the point of life? What's the purpose of my life? Why am I suffering? How do you mitigate that suffering? Why do some people look like they're not suffering? Why am I suffering? So what's really going on here? Is this all it's all about? So just get some money, enjoy your senses, and go crazy, and then you die? That doesn't make a lot of sense. So asking every questions, but if we're not conscious enough, if we're not getting heavy enough lashes, unfortunately, It looks like the lashes are purifying and punishing and meant to ask an intelligent person, like, is there a way out of this reaction, the sinful reaction, the suffering of the sinful reaction? So that's the point of the material life. Prabhupada says from this plea from Sanatana Goswami, we can understand that liberation or moksha, that is not the final word in perfection. There must be activities in liberation. Okay, I'm not material, I'm not the body, I'm not this, I'm not that. Well, who am I? And then what am I supposed to do? What are my activities? What is my duty? What is my responsibility? Sanatana Goswami clearly, he says here, you have saved me from the entanglement of the material existence. Now, after liberation, what is my duty? So people are saying, what does Krishna want me to do? And what are my instructions? And we've not even met the preliminary, pre-qualification, the prerequisite. And even if you ask the question, it's not out of like deep realization. It's just kind of like philosophical speculation. It's not, how do I save myself? It's not the crying of the soul. So the crying of the soul is actually required. Our crying is not the real crying, and therefore our surrender is not real surrender. So our ability to hear instructions and to take it to heart and to be ready to execute the instructions, this requires a certain level of qualification. And if we don't come to this stage and realize this stage of wanting to get out of materialism, material life, sinful activities, sinful attachments, sinful desires, sinful reactions, not seriously looking for how to become liberated from all of that, then all of these instructions from Krishna, from Mahaprabhu, from the Shastra, it really has no real meaning for you. You cannot be benefited by the instructions. And so it just goes in one ear, out the other ear. And so we can't really take it deeply to heart because we've not yet qualified ourselves to actually to surrender and to submit ourselves in a humble state of mind and ready to just take instructions. We're not submissive. So this humble mood of submission is not there yet. And so our ability to hear and understand instructions and how to apply those instructions in our life, it all is so confusing because actually it's not entering inside of us. We're just mental, sentimental, speculating. So there's so much noise, there's so much doubt, so much misconception. So all of this makes it almost impossible to put faith in the instructions. And so the lack of simplicity, a lack of urgency. And so therefore, we're not able to really be qualified enough to hear and understand, put faith in the instructions, and follow the instructions. So we're not really submissive, we're not really surrendered, we're not really obedient, we're not ready to just almost blindly follow Krishna's instructions. Because when you're deaf, dumb, and blind, and you don't know anything, and you don't have anything, it's blind following. Because you're trusting that Krishna is just going to guide you and get you out of that mess. that we've got ourselves into. So we're blindly following Maya, there's no problem there. But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, what are we supposed to blindly follow? Well, you're already blindly following. So now it's how do you just follow Krishna and Krishna Mahaprabhu's instructions? That will get us out of this dilemma. But we're over-intelligent, we're overthinking it, we're not actually qualified, we're not really surrendering, we're not greedy, we're not eager, we're not hankering to actually understand and solve our problem. That's why it's not working. So maybe this person's not really a guru, maybe this process doesn't really work. Right? It's everything but ourselves. So when we hear, if you're actually surrendered to Guru and Krishna, you will exactly understand what that mood is. Because you're in it, you were in it, you've executed it like that. And that's how you receive mercy from Krishna and bona fide mood. That's why you can hear and understand and put faith in this, because you know by your own practical experience of what is required in order to get that mercy. So we pray, you save me from the entanglement of material existence. We're thinking how to enjoy in material existence. I'm not trying to, how do I get saved from material existence? Where our plans are, what are our next plans to enjoy material life, material desire, material attachment? Those are our instructions that we're looking for. Please help me. How do I advance in my getting money so I can enjoy nice, comfortable, materialistic life with my family and my friends, my colleagues? So this is a completely different class. This is for those people who want to be liberated. Prabhupada said in Dhamma, Hare Krishna, Hare Bol, thank you. Hare Bol, we'll see you. Safe travels, Hare Krishna. So, Dhamma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Purushartha, and then Parama Purushartha, Prema, Bhakti. Those are only possible goals. Whatever you ask any person in the world, what is your goal? And basically, it comes down to, if you're a little pious, Dharma, go to church, pray to God, I need blessings, how I can be successful materialistically, how I can get a nice wife and a nice family and some nice money and some nice job and some nice house and some nice material situation, so we can enjoy it peacefully. So most people are going for that. And then how many are going for the moksha? Want to get liberated from all materialism, material desire, material attachment. And so Prabhupada was explaining that in the Kali Yuga, there's no dharma, and there's no desire for moksha, and there's certainly no desire for prema. So basically you're left with economic development for material sense gratification. So you need money for easygoing life, for sense gratification. You need the defensive position of a house, a flat, a yard, a fence, whatever your protection requirement is, a gun, get a gun, right? And why do you need all of that? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Because without the defensive posture and positioning for you and your family, you can enjoy. There's no peaceful eating, sleeping, and sex life if you have no protection. So these are all animalistic. Prabhupada says it's just really in Kali Yuga, give me some money, and sense gratification. Nobody cares about dharma. No one really cares about moksha. What to speak about bhakti, prema bhakti. So this is the reality of the situation, especially in the Kali Yuga. But here, you realizing that I don't want material life. You may have material desire. You may have material attachment. But you want to be a devotee and you want to surrender to Krishna. We're in a dilemma because we want it all. My Gurudev used to say, you're looking at Maya, then you're looking at Krishna, then Maya, then Krishna. So we're torn. And Krishna says, because your intelligence is splayed out, then your resolute determination to surrender and render devotional service and bhakti, it's not really manifesting itself. Because we're still distracted by Maya, because his deep-rooted desire and attachment and attraction to Maya is very, very strong. But in spite of that, devotee means, how do I get purified of that? How do I get free from that? How do I uproot that desire? Otherwise, how can I surrender to Krishna? How can I become really devoted? How can I really develop bhakti? As long as these other thoughts and desires and attractions and attachments, as long as that is there, this is an impediment. This is an obstacle. This will not allow me to fully surrender to Krishna and to be able to get Krishna. So devotee, don't wait for all of that's gone, now I'm going to become a devotee. No, devotee means it's there, but you want to overcome it. You want to purify it. You want to uproot it. You want to get free from it. So we're doing the work of purifying and uprooting and engaging intelligence, mind, and senses and following these instructions for that purpose. So when the desire to want to genuinely surrender to Krishna is more important to you than what your desire, material attachment, all those things are there. But if your desire to want to get out of this situation and want to really surrender to Krishna is more powerful and more convincing to yourself, these devotees convinced what is material life. Now, how do you get out of that? That's what Krishna is waiting for. That's the sincere cry of the soul. And as long as we're just caught up in materialism and distracted and attracted and attached materially, and we want to keep it that way, then we're not serious. And so these instructions are not really meant for us, for such a person. These are meant for people who want to get at least moksha. That means beyond just money, economic development, sense gratification. So now, Sanatana Goswami, he's explaining that you have saved me from this, by your mercy, you have saved me from the entanglement of material existence. Just mercy, calls us mercy. That mercy may come from heavy lashes of Maya also. That's also mercy. Most of us suffered like anything in material life. But if it wasn't for that suffering, we would not have surrendered to Krishna. We realize there's nothing else going to alleviate and free you from your suffering condition. There's no material adjustment. There's no way you can go. There's no other thing you can do to get relief except to surrender to Krishna. That's a blessing. because otherwise we wouldn't have surrendered. So Maya is doing a thankless task because she's pounding us, giving us heavy lashes, so much anxiety, so much suffering, so it's intolerable. And for Krishna's devotees, it's explained, I read earlier in Bhagavatam with Parikshit Maharaj, that Krishna just makes up some situation, right? Like, how does this devotee, Parikshit Maharaj, become thirsty and tired? Right? This whole dilemma that he got himself in with this sage, right? And in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, you see, Krishna, he just makes the situation to just frustrate the devotee so much that he understands, oh, Krishna is doing this to me. He's finishing off my materialistic life. And that's a special mercy. And the devotee realizes everyone else materially will be so frustrated. Why I can't advance materially, right? But for the devotee, he realizes, oh, Krishna, he put me in this situation, and now it's such a situation that really my material life is finished. So now I have to become serious. And that's Krishna's mercy. Now, how Krishna does that for his devotees, those who want to be devoted, or indirectly by heavy lashes of Maya, it's all for the same purpose, to somehow inspire that personality, those devotees, to surrender to Krishna. So Sanatana Goswami is saying, by your causeless mercy, you have just somehow or other, you've just pulled me out of this entanglement of my materialistic existence, my life. So now after you liberated me and freed me from all of that, now what am I supposed to do? Now what do you want me to do? Before I wasn't listening, before I wasn't ready, before I wasn't surrendered. Now I am. Now I admit, now I understand I'm your servant. I'm your das. So now please tell me, what do you want me to do? What is my duty? What is my service? What is my responsibility now? Now we're ready to take instruction. Now we need instruction. Otherwise, it's just, if I was going to surrender to Krishna, like, what would Krishna tell me to do? Just hypothetically. We're asking this type of question. And then if it's like close to what you want to do, then you're like, okay, that's not bad. I can do that for a while. Let's see how long we'll do that. So now after liberation, I'm asking you, my dear Lord, what is my duty? Kindly explain it to me. Sanatan further inquired, who am I? Why are these threefold miseries always giving me trouble? Why does Maharaja always talk about the miseries and this temporary miserable place? It just sounds so pessimistic. It's like raining on our parade, right? Because we don't want to come to the honest realization of what's really happening in our life. We want to be an illusion. That's why Maya's presentation, she never gives you the bad news. It's all positive. You're going to enjoy. It's going to be wonderful. Everything's going to be, just very, very nice. You're going to be happy. Everyone's going to be happy. And we're like, wow, that sounds really nice. That sounds very attractive. She never tells you all the bad stuff. She doesn't say what kind of reactions you're going to get, what kind of suffering you're going to go through, what type of miseries you're going to have to tolerate. She leaves all that out of it. So if we're in human consciousness, not animal consciousness, we'll ask ourselves, why am I always in a suffering condition? Now, if you love anxiety and depression, and that's your, definition of happiness, go for it. But if you're not satisfied with that change of definition, and you understand, okay, why am I always being harassed? Why are these threefold miseries always giving me trouble? Adhyatmika, Adhibodhika, Adhidaivaka, threefold miseries, right? My mind is always disturbed. And Kali Yuga, what does it say? Everyone's always disturbed. Because everybody misunderstands everything. Because they don't have a good intelligence. They miscalculate, they misunderstand, and they're always in trouble. Because we listen to the stupid mind, we're overestimating our adhika, we think we're very intelligent, and people tell us we have something. Therefore, we miscalculate, we come to the wrong conclusions, we make the wrong decisions, and we're our own worst enemy. Who else are you going to blame for that? We're the ones who make the decision. You don't have to do all of these things. We make that final decision, isn't it? So we're our own worst enemy. We need some better information. We need some better intelligence. We need some, can you just be my intelligence because mine's not working well? You have to, what does it say, like when you subcontract? Yeah, you need to outsource your thinking. Yeah, you failed in that. You have to hire this, big company, outsource your brain, your thinking, your calculation, your decision-making process. Sometimes they have to remove the CEO from the company head. Right? I'm not saying, don't misunderstand. But sometimes the company grows beyond the CEO. Right? So sometimes you have to then outsource and find a new CEO. Right? Who can take it to the next level. Right? So outsourcing means we're just admitting our defeat. Okay, my intelligence is really not working. I'm not calculating properly. I'm not coming to right conclusions. I'm making bad decisions on faulty or incomplete information. And it's the very cause of our, anxiety and disturbance. So no one's ever satisfied because we're completely disturbed. That's adhyatmika. And then the body, constantly one problem after another problem after. We're the whole day managing. Okay, not too hot, not too cold. You got to eat. You got to sleep. You got to bathe it. You got to dress the body. Right? We're just like the whole day just managing this body and mind to make it like as efficient and effective as possible, which we don't even know how to do just by ourselves alone. Leave the other living entities out of the scenario. Now add the other people into your scenario with their uncontrolled mind and senses, and their misunderstanding, and their lack of intelligence, and their misunderstanding and miscalculation, and making bad decisions, and just combine that with your adhyatmika, mix it all together, and then the two of you, in all your bewilderment, can try to get advice from your family members, your mother, your father, your brother, right? And they bring their speculation and their sentimentality and their out of control mind and senses, and they're overestimating their intelligence, calculating, analyzing now your situation from their perspective, coming up with advice, instructions, conclusions. It's all faulty. It's all coming from Maya. It's all guaranteed to fail. It's designed to fail. And we're taking it as absolute. We're taking it as good advice. And we're adding that now into the mix. Now you're in the world, ready to go into World War III. Everything is upside down. Every country is ready for a revolution. You're getting hit with, flooding cities and burning forests and tsunamis and earthquakes. And it's unbelievable. You think this is like the end of times.
Yeah, end of days.
Right, according to the Bible. Right, that's what they said.
Yeah.
These are all signs of the end of time. This is Armageddon.
Yeah.
So we're getting slammed with all of that. And then the government's keeping everybody in debt. The money's worth nothing. The jobs, you have to work 60 hours a week to make minimal salary. Right? Then they're polluting the water. They're poisoning the food. They're poisoning with the pharmaceuticals and all the shots and all the vaccines and all of this. They're causing all of these diseases. They're saying that, what is autism? They become like, the children become very disturbed.
Retarded. Retarded.
Kind of like retarded. He probably has it. He probably has it. If you really study him. You study him. But before this, like for instance, his autism, like 20 years ago, it would be like one person out of 30,000 people would get it, right? And all of a sudden, like some years later, then it's, one person out of 20,000 will get autism, right? Now, it's one person out of 31 people will become autistic. And in California, the males is 1 out of 12. So 1 out of 30,000 to 1 out of 12, that means something is purposefully poisoning and causing this thing. And then those communities, like different religious communities, like Amish people, they're very strictly against these vaccines and this so-called, modern medicine. And they don't have any autism. They have no cases of autism. For instance. So then the pharmaceutical, what do they call it?
Big pharma.
Big pharma, right? They're poisoning the people. And then they all have to get medicine. They all have to go to the hospital. Then all the hospitals, all the doctors, the whole medical industry, everyone is making a fortune off of you being sick and dying. And this is the world that we're living in. And you ask a lot of people, they say, I'm fine. I'm doing fine. I'm just doing the best I can, and I have nice plans. Everything is going good, nice. So oblivious. We're not conscious of these miseries. And therefore, because of that, the miseries have to be increased. Because we're not paying attention. We're not getting the point. And that's why it's increased to the people become fed up. One other interesting thing is, like, you know, in Indian Vedic culture, the pineal gland, right? The third eye, right? So this is supposed to be like antenna to fourth dimensional transcendental platform. Kind of like an antenna to the spiritual world. That's through the pineal gland, right? So they're putting the fluoride in the water, and it's calcifying the pineal gland. So they're literally causing like a scar and a covering over your antenna, spiritual antenna, you can say, right? So that you'll have trouble to be able to go into that type of fourth dimensional spiritual realm of possibility. This is not by accident. So it's very interesting that now they're understanding that they're literally trying to pollute your consciousness, keep you under three-dimensional modes of material nature, harassed. You see in these towns and the cities, right, everything is dirty. Homeless people in many places sleeping on the street, right? There's supposed to be a government that is supposed to protect the people and keep law and order and keep everything clean and everything, you know, mode of reasonable goodness, right? Why they just keep everything so harassed? It's like a purposeful kind of punishment, like a
demoralization.
Yeah, just to keep everybody really like suffering and harassed. Everyone's always harassed, right? They could solve all of that, right? But why don't they solve it? So they want to keep everybody like struggling under these conditions so that they have no strength, no intelligence, no spiritual intelligence to question, to oppose the manipulation, the tyranny, the exploitation. So that's what's going on around us, isn't it? Are you all aware of all of that? Now you are. But these are the threefold miseries. It's meant to cause a misery. And we're just adjusting what to do. So intelligent person, conscious person will say, why am I being harassed and forced to suffer under these threefold miseries? Please tell me, how can I be relieved? How do I get out of and free from this material entanglement? That's what the devotee is asking. And finally, please tell me, I don't know how to question you about advancement in spiritual life. I don't even know the questions I need to ask you how to advance in my spiritual life. But I beg that you kindly, mercifully, just let me know everything I should know. Yes. I don't even know what I'm supposed to know.
Yes.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to ask you. So you just tell me. Just tell me out of mercy. Just let me know everything that I should know. Because we're ignorant. I'm ignorant. We don't know what's happening materially. We don't know what's happening consciously. We don't know what's happening subconsciously. What are we going to understand about the transcendental spiritual world? We're going to sit here in Tamagun and speculate about what's happening in the spiritual world and quote some shlokas and act like we're pundits? We're going to play that game? This is like insane asylum. Sometimes the crazy people put on the doctor's jacket and they get the stethoscope, right? And they go around, let me just see what's wrong with you. So Prabhupada says here, this is the process of accepting a spiritual master. One should approach a spiritual master, humbly submit to him, and then inquire from him about one's spiritual progress. The Lord was pleased with Sanatana's submissive behavior. Humble, submissive. And he replied, you have already been blessed by Lord Krishna. And therefore you know everything and are free from all material or all the miseries of material existence. Yet even though due to your Krishna consciousness, you have naturally achieved the grace of Krishna and are thus already conversant with everything. Because you're a humble devotee, you're taking this position, and now you're just asking me to confirm what you have already realized. So you already got the mercy. You already understand all of this thing. But now you just want confirmation. And you're also asking so that I can speak for the benefit of the other living entities, of what is required, like Arjuna, what is required for that person to surrender, what is his mood, what is his inquiry. So these are the characteristics, Prabhupada says, of true devotee. In Naradiya Purana, it said that by the grace of the Lord, one who is very serious about developing Krishna consciousness has his desire to understand Krishna fulfilled very soon. I remember my Gurudev used to say, this can happen very quickly. And I was like, but this seems so difficult. So how can it happen like so quickly? I didn't even consider that it could happen quickly. And of course, that requires tremendous amount of mercy from Krishna. Krishna says to show special mercy. I destroyed all of the sinful reactions, all of the tamagun. That's a special mercy. And then he gives his representative, bona fide spiritual master, who helps us to understand all of this thing in the right way. We get mercy of spiritual master. So by that, my Gurudev used to say many times that you don't understand how powerful the mercy is. You're underestimating the power of the mercy. And therefore, because you don't understand what that means and you don't value, and understand the power of that, then you're not greedy for it. How can you be greedy for something that you don't really understand what it is? But if we understand that that mercy, kripa, of Krishna and Krishna's devotee means impossible can become possible. But if we have no desire to get out of it, then there's no possibility. But if somehow that soul is crying to Krishna, and very serious, Prabhupada said, how to get out of Maya, how to develop in your Krishna consciousness. Krishna knows that you have this desire, and that will get his, Gurudev used to say, if the baby's crying, the mother runs to the baby. So if you have all these children and these children are strong, the baby who's crying, the mother goes to the crying baby. And Prabhupada also says when you're chanting Hare Krishna, it's like a baby crying for the mother. That's a crying of the soul. So when we analyze our chanting, are we crying like a baby for the mother? Do we really truly realize how needy we are? We're not understanding how needy we are, and we're not understanding how badly we need that mercy. We don't even really understand what it means. And then how do you become greedy for it? And yet that's what's required. One who is very serious about developing in their Krishna consciousness has his desire to understand Krishna fulfilled very soon. So Krishna says, if you sincerely, seriously want to surrender to me, and you want to be my devotee, you want to serve me, loving devotion, if this is your desire, I'll give you intelligence and understanding very quickly how you can do it. But we're not asking. Our desire is not so strong. And because of that, then this work of Maya and this threefold miseries and this punishment and this reactions, that's required. Because it will purify us, because it's burning, purifying. And if we can somehow feel the burning, wow, that's advancement already. Now, okay, how do you get out of this? Sign me up. How do I get out of this condition? Are you signed up? How to get out? Or you're happy staying in it? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, you are a suitable person. This is the definition of a suitable person who should receive the mercy from and the protection from the Lord in devotional service. So because you're a suitable person, you deserve the protection, you deserve the mercy of the Lord. Mahaprabhu said, therefore now it is my duty to instruct you in the science of God. And I will explain to you everything, step by step. So this is the process, Prabhupada says, of accepting a spiritual master. One should approach a spiritual master, humbly submit to him, and then inquire from him about one's spiritual progress. Now, if one is sincere, Prabhupada says, if one is sincere and serious about wanting to surrender to Krishna, Krishna will send you a very nice spiritual master. Krishna can understand, as Paramatma Super Soul, oh, this soul is crying for me. He's looking how to surrender to me, how to know me, how to come to me, how to serve me. Krishna knows. Prabhupada said that the only problem is we're not sincere and serious enough. That's only the problem. And so, material life, materialism, all the reactions, all the miseries, I guess that's going to make us more serious and more sincere to want to solve our problem and want to get out of Maya and want to surrender to Krishna. And when Krishna sees, right, Mahaprabhu was saying, I can understand by what you're saying and what you're doing that you are a suitable candidate to receive instruction. You are a suitable person. And you're a suitable person to protect the devotional service of the Lord. So not only is he giving to him, but you'll protect it. And then you'll also be able to share it. So Mahaprabhu knows that this person is meant to share it with other people in the future. Because really he's already devoted, he already knows everything. He just needs some confirmation. He needs some further information, instruction, because then you'll be able to give it to others, share it for others. Therefore, it is my duty to instruct you in the science of God. And I will explain everything to you step by step. So it's for his benefit. And just like Krishna spoke to Arjuna, through Arjuna to the rest of mankind, he's re-establishing Parampara, the sibling succession. Prabhupada says approaching a spiritual master is not just a fashion. It's not a fashion statement. Oh, I have a spiritual master. I have a spiritual name. Now I'm an official card-holding member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Frequent flyer benefits. Approaching a spiritual master is not just a fashion, but it is a necessity for one who is seriously conscious of material miseries, seriously conscious of it, and who wants to get free from them. These instructions from spiritual master meant for those people. Seriously conscious of threefold miseries, of the material miseries, and who wants eagerly how to get free from them. It is the duty of such a person to approach a bona fide spiritual master. And in this regard, Prabhupada says we should note Arjuna's similar circumstances in the Bhagavad Gita. When he was perplexed by so many problems, in his material life involving whether to fight or not fight, what to do, what not to do. He accepted Lord Krishna as his spiritual master. Prabhupada in the purport in Bhagavad Gita said, this material world is so perplexing, it's so confusing, and it's designed that way, that even the best of people cannot understand it. So you doing Hatha Yoga in New York City is a joke that you're going to understand about the transcendental spiritual life. So just as Arjuna was perplexed, and then he accepted Lord Krishna as his spiritual master, as what Lord Chaitanya is instructing Sanatana Goswami, the Bhagavad Gita is also a case of the supreme spiritual master instructing his disciple about the constitutional position of the living entity and what is his duty. So Krishna spoke to Arjuna, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's instructing Sanatana Goswami. So they're speaking through those personalities for the benefit of the rest of mankind. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling the last instruction of the Bhagavad Gita is every living entity, every spirit, soul should surrender completely unto the Supreme Soul, Krishna. And that every soul that surrenders to Krishna, then you can, this is the way to realize and become peaceful and happy in your life. Here also, Lord Chaitanya answering the questions of Sanatana, he's repeating the same exact truth. That's Parampara. Same truth, same philosophy from Krishna, from Mahaprabhu, from their devotees. But here there is a difference. Here, Lord Chaitanya does not give the information about the spirit soul that is already described in the Bhagavad Gita. Rather, he begins from the point where Krishna ended his instruction. So these are the higher teachings after Bhagavad Gita, this postgraduate study, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's not just about getting moksha. It's about what does that soul do now in terms of his duty or activities. So here, Mahaprabhu is teaching beyond Bhagavad Gita. He's beginning from the point where Krishna ended his instruction. It is accepted by great devotees that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. And as such, he begins his instruction to Sanatana Goswami from the point where he ended his instructions to Arjuna in the Gita. So it's Krishna. He's Adi Guru, his source of all knowledge and intelligence. And he's incarnating directly, and he's also manifesting and empowering through his representatives, bona fide Guru. And according to what the student needs, then those instructions are there. And of course, Krishna, it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that after Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita at the end of Dwapara Yuga, when he finished up his pastime, went back to his abode, then Krishna was thinking, oh, when I was speaking that Gita, I told everybody, just think about me, just fully surrender to me. But I didn't teach them how to do it. what would be required for them to be able to do it. So it says that Krishna is a theoretical teacher, and Mahaprabhu is the practical teacher. So without prema, without love for Krishna, how could you always think about Krishna? Without full faith and trust and love and affection for Krishna, how you'll fully surrender to Krishna? So therefore, prema is required. So Krishna comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, prema purushottama. It's Krishna. Only Krishna can give prema of himself. And when he wants to give prema, and he wants to freely distribute the prema, he does it through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here, this is an indicator here, how Krishna is coming again as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give the higher teachings, and what is the requirement that one can get the Krishna prema. And he's establishing the Yuga Dharma Premanam Sankirtan. It's not regular Sankirtan, it's Premanam Sankirtan. Therefore, by chanting Shuddha Nam, pure holy name, one gets Krishna prema. Then we can always think of Krishna. Then you can surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, Gurudev would say, without prema, how you get out of Maya? Even Bharat Maharaj, he was on Baba stage, still he got affected. Also, just to show that without prema, there's no safe, absolute position or protection, especially from this material influence. It may be more subtle, but still Maya. And to teach, even great personalities, they take this position as being affected by Maya, coming under the influence. And the idea was that because Bhargaraj didn't have Premi Bhakta Sangha, or like Ajamil, right? It said when he named his son Narayana, then when he leaving his body, he said Narayana. And then somehow Vishnu Dutas came, saved him, protected him, but he didn't go back to Godhead. He just got his life extended. Otherwise, Yamadutas would have grabbed him. They got protection. Okay, we're going to extend his life and we'll give him Premi Bhakta Sangha. Once he gets Premi Bhakta Sangha, he gets purified, develops that bhakti, then he can go back. Then he can go to Vaikuntha. So here the idea is not just Vaikuntha, it's the Goloka Vrindavan, it's Krishna's planet. This is what's being offered. So without Krishna prema, who's going to go to Goloka Vrindavan? So that's a requirement. So we have to agree to go through this process to become purified and qualified so that we can be positioned to receive this type of mercy from the Holy Name, mercy from Mahaprabhu, the devotee. So here Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's beginning his instructions to Sanatana Goswami from the point where he ended his instructions to Arjuna in the Gita. Not just moksha, not just theoretical understanding. But what is required practically? That means development of Krishna prema, and those instructions will come later with Sanatana Goswami. Any questions or points on any of this? Why I can't hear anything? Why I have so many doubts? Why I'm not advancing? Why I can't put faith? Why I have no interest, no desire? This explains everything, doesn't it? So if we don't get mercy from Krishna and spiritual master, then only other mercy is Maya. That's also mercy. It says Maya is a wicked taskmaster. And as soon as you try to get out, Maya will wage a ferocious attack against you. Oh, you're trying to get out of my clutches? Let's see. So Prabhupada said, now you're declaring war against Maya. So are we declaring war? Are we already captive? Are we captured? Are we just sitting in the prison house behind enemy lines?
Prisoner of war.
Hmm?
Prisoner of war.
Yeah, prisoner of war. A prisoner, we're locking ourselves up.
That's strange.
We're putting the handcuffs on ourselves, we're locking the door, we're throwing away the key. Right? Then we're sitting in there like, oh, I'm a victim. I'm not treated properly. Everyone else is responsible for putting me in this suffering condition. Right? And then the key is like on the chair next to you. It's like, I don't know how to get out of this condition. And worse than that was saying, hey, this is a pretty good place. I got a bed, I got a table. They're feeding me 3 times a day. It's not so bad. This is our foolishness, isn't it? So for those who really want to be devoted, Krishna understands it. We wouldn't be here if we didn't have a sincere desire to want to be real devoted. We wouldn't be given this opportunity. The problem is, Gurudev used to say, it's not one-time crying. It's not your soul cried one time. It has to be constantly restlessness, not complacency. So we cried, and then Krishna put us in this room. Now what are we going to do? Is this just enough? And then if we don't move forward, we're going to be dragged backwards. There's no just sitting here. I'm in Tatastha. I'm not going that way, neither I'm trying not to go that way. The clock is ticking. We have to make a decision. You don't stay eternally in Tatastha. The clock's going to run out. You have to make a decision. Which direction will you go? Do you want Krishna? Or you want the Maya? So now we're in Tatastha. Now we're like, okay, now you can make a decision. You want to go towards Krishna? Or do you want to go back to Maya? We have to decide. Everyone has their own minute independence. You cannot be forced. Krishna is canvassing us. Mahaprabhu is canvassing us, reminding us. If we're fortunate enough to hear it and it somehow hits us, it can affect some kind of a change in our understanding or our mentality, mood, then there's chance. If it's, I already heard all of this, I already know all of this, then maybe this is not the right class for you. Maybe you need another teacher. All right, I'll end my class there. If anyone has any other further discussion, question on any topic. Whatever discussion my Gurudev talked about, every single class came back to Guru Tattva. You can count on it. He could talk about any aspect of Vedic knowledge, Vedic civilization, always back to Guru Tattva. Because the transaction is consummated through the Guru. So whatever mercy that Krishna wants to give, he's giving through the Guru. And Krishna in the heart shows special mercy to wake us up enough to ask this question before you go to Guru. Why am I suffering? Why am I harassed? Why so painful? Right? How much drugs, alcohol, everyone's intoxicated because they're in pain. They're basically doing pain management by trying to cover somehow or other their suffering condition. And then Prabhupada says you get a little bit of relief from your normal suffering and you think, oh, now I'm happy. Happy. What happens when the drugs don't work anymore? It says that every living entity, material world, they have a drug of choice. Some is their work, some is sex, drugs, all different types of distractions from otherwise disturbing, suffering condition. It's designed that way. Krishna, Gurudev, just trying to make us consciously aware of the threefold miseries. We don't even know we're suffering. It's like the guy in the forest, his hair is on fire. You're coming out of the forest and you're like, sir, are you all right? He said, I'm fine. I'm doing fine. You're completely on fire. Material life, material world is like a burning forest fire. And we're so callous, we're so dull, so foolish, that we think, no, I'm all right. I feel fine. We're describing in great detail threefold miseries, and we're just like, I'm not feeling really any of that. So what is it? Are you completely transcendental Premi Bhakta and you're not feeling any of that? You've transcended it? Or are we just in animal consciousness, so low consciousness that we cannot even perceive our own suffering condition? What is it? Yeah? Everybody good? This is such a happy class, isn't it? The Guru, he is not there to flatter you and try to make you just feel good about yourself. You're not there to build up your illusion and your feeling of self-esteem, because then you won't surrender to Krishna. He's doing opposite. He tried to make us realize how powerless we are, how foolish we are, how useless we are, how helpless we are. That's the reality of the situation. The Guru Krishna is just trying to get us to realize the reality of our situation. But under illusion, under Maya, we're saying, well, I don't feel powerless. I don't feel useless. I don't feel helpless. I don't need to be saved. Thank you very much, but I don't need to be saved. So because we're thinking like that, Guru Krishna keeps saying, you're insane. You're not in touch with the reality of the situation. You're not consciously realizing and feeling the piercing of your heart under the threefold miseries. Therefore, you're not inquiring how to get free from the suffering. Why would you inquire how to get free from the suffering that you're not perceiving? Or that you think you're managing just fine? I don't have to surrender. I'll just make some adjustments. I'll manage my pain and my miseries by these adjustments, and everything under control. Arjuna, he also thought he had everything under control. But nature, Maya, is more powerful. No one overcomes Maya. Old age, disease, death, nobody, they're all trying to overcome them. Hiranyakashipu tried to overcome it, right? Now they get AI and they have all this different other thing. They're going to overcome old age, disease, and death. This is the arrogance of material intelligence and material consciousness. Is that you think you can do something to not be affected by how Krishna has set up this material world. You think you're more powerful by your science, by your technology. You're more powerful than Krishna controlling Maya, controlling his energies. So we have so many problems. I have a health problem, mental problem, family problem, money problem, work problem, government problem, visa problem, relationship problem, so many problems. But the real problem, Prabhupada said, you want the real problem? Old age, disease, and death. When you're old age, disease, facing death, you're only thinking one thing, how to survive. You cannot think about any other thing except self-preservation. That's a problem. And when we're woefully unprepared, I'm saying big words now. He's a poet. He knows when I'm using different words than usual. Someone's prompting me because I'm not much of a poet. So, yeah. What's going to convince us? What's going to motivate us? Prabhupada said you can learn by hearing, right? So if we hear Krishna instruction, Mahaprabhu's instruction, the Guru's instruction, you can learn that way and say, oh, that makes sense. Yes, this is true. I accept this as true. Or not hearing, Krishna said, then you're lost. Because you're false ego, you refuse to listen and hear, you're lost. Now you have to learn the hard way. Now you have to learn by a stick. So Prabhupada said you can learn by hearing or by stick. So Krishna, father, mother, they're trying to be reasonable with us. They're pleading with us. They're begging us. They're trying to inspire us and motivate us, but we're not listening. So therefore, punishment is required. Otherwise, how will we learn? When devotee is punished, he says, oh, Krishna, were they punishing me? You're not blaming anybody else. Oh, why they're treating me like this? Why I'm being harassed like this? No, you're getting punishment. Guru Krishna is slapping you, trying to wake you up, trying to warn you. So how heavy is the slap required? We're going to wait for the time of death? We're going to wait for that slap? So the sooner the better, because this is really always going to be the solution. There's no other solution. So it's just, when do we take the solution seriously? That's all. Just a matter of time. In this lifetime? Or the next lifetime? Or the next one? Or the next life? When? At what point? So? Your friend is always trying to block you. I'm talking. They have the competition of the mental speculators. That's why I get those two confused. But they're kind of like in the same pot, So?
How can I perceive Krishna all the time? Otherwise, anytime.
Qualify yourself. Become a suitable candidate for mercy. I remember one person came into my room and said, if you're my guru, you should do Krishna Prema right now. If you're a real guru, you should give me Krishna Prema. That's like a little different mood, right? Than like Sanatana Swami. Would you say? Like a little different mood? The only thing missing in that scenario was a gun. Like Gunda, give me Krishna Prema. I'm going to kill you. It's like some philosophical misconception is going there. Some wires that were crossed there. That's not how it works. These examples are there. Devotees are taking those positions to show us what is required. What is the mood? Simple, humble, submissive, admitting your defeat, not thinking you know better, genuine inquiry. I don't even know what to ask you. I don't even know what's best for me. Just tell me. what's best. That's the mood. So you're talking about how to always see Krishna. This is like, why don't you start like in the first grade? You're asking for the PhD. You got to be admitted into the school. This is the admission process. So qualify yourself for admission. Then talk about how to become qualified. Meet the prerequisite qualification. Because that mood and the crying of the soul, realizing its position, is what will, inspire Krishna and Krishna's devotees to help you. Because they're very merciful and kind. Pada dukkha dukhi means they're suffering, seeing us suffering. They're saddened by that. They don't want to see anybody suffering, hurting. They're always ready to help. But we're not asking. So if we're not asking, they're not forcing. Because it means we have to learn a few things. And this mood, if you really look at anywhere in Bhagavatam, or now scripture, anytime someone gets a benediction from the Lord, benediction from Krishna, benediction from Vaishnavas, how did they get benedictions and mercy and blessings by which they were able to accomplish so much in their spiritual life? And it's always a description beforehand. What was their mentality? What was their mood? The humble, submissive, respectful, meek, eager to learn, eager to serve. There's always these requirements before they get the mercy and the benedictions and the blessings. So it's ready to be given. The problem is not from Krishna's side. The problem is we're not qualified. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says about that if the man has 4 sons, and then he's writing up the, what's it called?
Will.
Like a will, like when he leaves his body, how he'll distribute his assets. He has 4 sons. And so he could just leave it 25%, 25, 25, 25, right? 4 times. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, no, he waits which one of my sons will become qualified. Who will work and become qualified and responsible? So the father rather leave the inheritance to the person who didn't take for granted, but who earned it responsibly, is much more happy to leave that inheritance to that son. Because otherwise they're whimsical. They're irresponsible. They'll just squander it also. So we have to become qualified. And we must understand what is the qualification that Krishna and Krishna's devotees give us so much mercy. And we should try to desire to become like that. If you're not like that, if we're not like that, we say, I need to become that. Somehow or other. If we're not that, desire that, that's a start. Don't assume that you already have it. That's out of touch with reality. So that's why the spiritual master is try to help us to understand what is our actual position. What is our actual adhikar? We're overestimating our qualification. Because of pride, because of arrogance, because of imperfect sense perception, we're not seeing our own faults. We don't have the right vision or perspective on ourselves. We cannot even measure ourselves properly. We're overestimating. So the spiritual master is giving the user manual of what is the proper, qualities, behavior of these personalities, so that we can at least say, well, that's not me, but I need that. I'm not simple, but I need to be simple. I'm not submissive, but I need to become submissive. Now you're basically hankering for the things you don't have, because that's the preliminary prerequisite to actually deserve mercy. Okay, sometimes you get some causeless mercy, but you're not running on causeless mercy. That's just to get you started. Now we have to earn it. Does that make sense? You're just trying to ask a question. He's doing for the benefit of everybody else. Anyone else? Yeah. You came back tonight. I thought I was too heavy. Sometimes the guru's like too heavy. Right? You just want some stories. Maharaja, just tell some leelas, Why the threefold miseries and heavy lashes, and why the always finding fault and chopping and cutting, and this is painful. Sometimes you go to the doctor because you're in pain. And it says when you go to the doctor and he's going to try to fix you up, right? And he's saying, does it hurt here? And it's like, ah! So it looks like the doctor's surgery is causing you more pain. I remember Gurudev would say like this, and then the patient swearing at the doctor. Oh, you're the cause of my pain. Why are you doing this? And all of a sudden, then you pass out after the surgery. And then you wake up, you're like, oh, I feel pretty good. And everything dropped out. You got nice treatment, nice medication. Then the doctor comes. And they're like, oh, doctor, thank you so much. You helped me. And the doctor's like, oh, you should have heard yourself yesterday. You were kicking and screaming. You were swearing at me. You were saying I'm the cause of your suffering condition. People who are not really guru, they'll just flatter you. They'll entertain you and they'll flatter you. They won't take a risk to try to, protect you and warn you. Mataji Hare Krishna. Oh, she stole the mic. No, it's all right. You're more eager. Oh.
Hare Krishna, Mataji is asking the question that how can we understand that we are not the body, we are actually the soul, and how we can purify this soul and go in this life back to Godhead.
Where do we start with that from? How do you realize the soul? I guess when you're suffering enough and nothing materially is working, then you're somehow heard about God, and people tell only God can save you, only God can help you. Then you go to the ocean or the mountain or the forest or the hospital room and cry, God, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you help me? Nothing else, nobody else can help me. So the soul has to cry out. And if somehow or other we're pious, then the soul can cry out to God. Even you don't understand so much about God. You just heard that God is very merciful, compassionate. He wants to help us. So somehow you pray before the deities, you cry before the Lord, and then He's very sympathetic. Then He'll help you, He'll guide you step by step, to guide you to spiritual master also, to give you, and to association with devotees, to give you support system and some shelter, some protection, some advice, and hopefully some instructions step by step. As we become more purified, as we develop more faith and develop more personal experience, then all of these things one by one become revealed in due course of time. Step by step. All right? Anything else, Mataji? She's all right? Mm-hmm. Hare Krishna.
मैं चाहती हूँ कि अगर हम सरेंडर नहीं करेंगे तो हम आगे नहीं चल पाएंगे. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
जैसे कि आप क्लास में बोल रहे हैं कि
Did they explain to me anything?
No.
No? Oh, we're just still inquiring?
हम एक टाइम माँ को देखते हैं, एक टाइम कृष्ण की तरफ देखते हैं, तो हम ज्यादातर टाइम माँ को देखते हैं. लेकिन मैं चाहती हूँ, मैं कृष्ण को, गुरु कृष्ण को खुश सरेंडर करना चाहती हूँ, कृष्ण के साथ करना चाहती हूँ. तो हम सरेंडर नहीं करेंगे तो हम गुरु कृष्ण को मतलब माया से नहीं निकल पाएंगे. तो हम कैसे माया से निकले और क्या इंस्ट्रक्शन है वो फॉलो करने से हम गुरु कृष्ण को खुश कर पाएंगे, हम माया से निकल पाएंगे. क्या जोड़ेंगे?
Is that clear? What did she say?
She said that sometimes we look Maya, sometimes
You don't what?
she said sometimes we look Maya.
Smile?
Maya.
Sometimes we're looking at Maya, and sometimes we're looking at Krishna.
Okay.
So unless we are not surrendering to Guru and Krishna, we can't get out from Maya. So what is our instruction? What Krishna wants us to do? How we can please Guru Krishna? Because for us it's very difficult to get out from Maya by our own. So how should we do?
Do you want to be servant of Maya? Do you like that lifestyle? Do we like having uncontrolled mind and senses? Do we like getting heavy reactions and punishments, anxiety, depression, no peace, no satisfaction, no happiness, little bit of pleasure, unlimited suffering? Do you like that lifestyle? Do you think it's a smart lifestyle choice? So when we're fed up with that and want to get out of it, then we'll do something about it. We'll just say, okay, that's unacceptable. It's not an option. I cannot live like this. Then we'll be more serious to take to the solution. When you say it's not an option, I cannot live like this is unacceptable. You want something more for your life, you want to please Guru and Krishna, then we have to get disgusted by it, fed up by it. That's a requirement. That will make us more serious to do what's required, to take shelter of the instructions, shelter of the solution. Rededicate, be more determined to avoid it. And once you get some advancement, some mercy, try to protect it. It's so difficult to get sometimes, so easy to lose it. So we have to protect it, so we don't lose it. We have to learn all of this lesson practically. Otherwise, it's just all theoretical, some knowledge, some gyan. So we have to make it practical. And we have to get our own faith and our own realization of how it's working. Guru and Krishna are trying, Shastra, trying to explain everything to it. Then you have to see through the eye of Shastra how it's working, what works, what's not working. And we have to make a determination. What type of lifestyle we want to live, and who are we actually serving, who are we actually trying to please, and are we pleasing or not? That's up to us to decide that. We have independence, free will to use or misuse. I hope that helps you.
Mataji asking that, can you please tell her that what Guru Krishna has intention for her? Like what is the intention, what instruction? How can she really surrender?
Do you want to surrender to, you want to be Maya Dasi or Krishna Dasi?
She wants to become Krishna Dashi.
But she was just saying that she's also looking at Maya. So it looks like it's not completely clear yet.
She's saying that she wants to get out from Maya.
But no buts.
No, but like she's saying that she wants to get out from Maya. If you give her instruction, she will follow whatever you will say.
Oh, so you got convinced by Krishna's instruction? He convinced you that you should surrender to him?
Yes.
Very good. So what are you going to do? Where is she staying? Huh? She stays with us? She's already doing service with us? You're already with us. You already surrendered. Nobody told you? You already signed up for the class. You're already enrolled. You're already in the process. You're already doing it. Right? So just keep doing it. Keep chanting, go to the programs, help with the cooking, help the devotees, go to the kirtan, harinam, go to the class, hear about Krishna. You're already doing all of that, right? You want to do more than that? Can you do more than that? Do you have any extra time? Are you busy? Are you fully engaged? So you already have your seva. What more do you want? Maybe she can do construction on the temple. Some welding or some. Just do what you're doing. All right, who else? Yes?
Shri Gurudev, you are always saying
The
that
Matajis there's a monopoly with that microphone tonight. They have hijacked the microphone. They're very eager for mercy. The men are like kind of dull, you know. They get false egos. They're all puffed up. You know?
Shri Gurudev, you are always talking that this ISKCON is Mahaprabhu movement and there is no space for this selfishness. This is always selfless. Like whatever I'm hearing from you and whatever I heard from the previous Acharya, one good quality I always look that you are always like so inspired to help like in the mission of the spiritual master. You have no selfish desire. So how can I develop this sincerity, this eagerness to give up all my selfishness and what Guru Krishna wants from me to do? I am
Just whatever service you have, do that for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Try to please the spiritual master by doing your service. That's a selfless act. You're not acting for yourself. You're acting for the pleasure of the spiritual master. That's the first of all. And then try to help other people around you share your faith, your experience with your friends and your family and whoever you can influence. Because there's also preaching movement. If they're willing, if they're simple enough to hear your sharing of your faith and experience, that will teach us. When we're in the Maya, everything is selfish. Everything we're doing, I, me, mine. When we're doing the seva, it's because we want to please our spiritual master, because we need and we want his mercy. We want him to be happy, but we also need mercy and blessing, because otherwise, how can we come out successful? How can we really advance to become the type of disciple and servant that is expected of us? That's why we need the mercy. Otherwise, how we really can please them. So that's a selfless mentality and selfless motivation. And that has to be cultivated. So Prabhupada says, make the instructions of the spiritual master your life and your soul. And while you're doing that, try to please them, try to satisfy them. And then you deserve mercy automatically. You get mercy, then all nice qualities will develop, and all the bad stuff will gradually leave us. And then more and more will become like real devotee, step by step, by that mercy. I hope that helps you.
Can I ask one thing?
Why not?
Like,
We're in a flow.
You told me that
I always get nervous when someone says, you told me. I'm like, oh my God,
like
what did I tell you?
like this sadhu sangha is most important thing. Like you said, like if you take shelter on Srimad Bhagavatam, this Hari-katha, Krishna-katha, all of your problems will be solved. So past 2 years, I try my best because I don't get always your association. So whatever the lectures we have, I try my best to hear more and more to develop this desire to surrender to Guru Krishna mission. But sometimes some devotees say that why you are, because I know that tapes are not like the Shabda Brahma is there, but it reminds me, it helps me to remember that Gurudev is there, like your instruction is there. It can remind, like whenever I'm hearing your lectures, audios lectures and videos lectures.
Yeah.
So I just want to know that if I'm doing, like, it's not like I'm like not doing my services. While doing my services, whatever I'm doing, I just want to increase more and more. Like when I'm taking prasad or doing anything, I just want to keep hearing your lecture so that I can remind.
So could have people saying something she's doing wrong or something like that?
Like sometimes devotees, like some devotees criticize me, like it's happened sometimes, so I can't
Why?
express.
How they criticize it?
Like they said like why you are always keeping your ear like headphone on your ears, like you know, like Shri Gurudev is like always say like when he's present, so that Shabda Brahma is there. So I can't explain them that you told me that sadhu sangha is most important, and it's helped me when I'm hearing more and more your lectures.
But are you hearing the lecture to the earphone?
Yes.
But are you, when the devotee is giving the class, are you listening to?
No, not
No,
that time.
okay. I just want to make, because that would be like rude, you know?
Like sometimes when eating prasadam or maybe cleaning, maybe just cleaning. Like sometimes when I don't need to talk with anyone, because I'm not that person who likes to talk always with anyone. You told me that stop talking, start listening. You told me very earlier.
So what's the problem?
So I just want to know that I'm doing correct thing. Is it helping me? Because I see it's helping me, but I need your assurance. I can't tell them, but like I'm not in that condition to say anyone. But if you can assure me that it's helping and it increase my desire, because you always say that desire.
All right, I'll ask you a question. When you have the earphone in, are you getting some inspiration and help?
Yes, always.
And when you take it out, are the Matajis you're speaking with who want to talk to you, are they able to give you the same type of spiritual experience?
No.
Ask her.
No.
No. So the other Matajis are not speaking about the Guru and Krishna? Are they speaking krishna-katha?
So many times.
Oh.
I was too afraid to say, but
Oh, now the
I'm
truth is
saying it.
coming out. What are these Matajis talking about?
Talking about saris.
Oh. Mataji is talking about saris? I'm so shocked. What that conversation?
Others' instruction, sometimes always criticizing this and that. I don't care, but I just want to hear Gurudev and become humble. But it's happening
Don't
always.
worry, nobody's going to talk to you anymore after this. So everything's going to be solved. Then you can just put it back in and everything will be fine. You have made it clear to everybody what your requirement is to take out the headphone. And if they don't meet that requirement, then you're just going to put it back in there. That's all. That's all right. You're not very interested in sorry conversation?
Not at all.
I hope she stays that way. That's good. Keep it simple. Any other thing? Any other question? Yeah? Yes, sir? Young man? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Uh-oh.
I had a one simple question.
Sure.
If I see myself in everyone and act to them like if they were me, then wouldn't that respect Krishna's creations?
Wouldn't that what?
Wouldn't that respect Krishna's creations?
If you see yourself in them?
No, like I respect them like, as if they would be me. So instead of me thinking about me only, I think of them like they were me. Like
There's too many me's in there. I heard me like too many times. Me, are they thinking like me? Are they respecting like me? Me. So try to eliminate the me's. Try to see Krishna. Right? Don't try to see the me in them. Try to see Krishna in them. Right? We're a servant of Krishna. We're not in their hearts. Krishna is in their heart. So don't try to see you. Try to see Krishna. And next to Krishna is another soul in that body. And so somehow Krishna tried to influence that soul to be devotee. That's why Krishna coming as Paramatma Super Soul, to give that intelligence, how to surrender to him, how to serve him. So when you see inside of other body, Krishna is also there. That's why we should be respectful. Because Krishna, while we're talking to that soul, Krishna is also watching. How are you talking to that soul? How are you dealing with that soul? How are you dealing with that other living entity? Because Krishna is the witness. And everybody belongs to Krishna. So they may just be forgetful. They may be suffering in material consciousness. So try to understand it. It's not easy sometimes because it becomes sometimes emotional. But we have to try to keep a nice Krishna consciousness, look at it, from a rational, intelligent point of view. Don't take it personal. I mean, if you love yourself, then you can love yourself in somebody else. But mostly conditioned soul, there's not much to love because it's all nasty. It's all demoniac qualities, selfishness, sinful desires, so much not nice qualities, not nice behavior. So there's not much to see there, isn't it? So we want to try to get rid of all of that.
I had another question
Sure.
after you said about the desires. Is the desires coming from the soul or the desires belong to the body?
It depends what the desire is. So if the desire is related to bodily satisfaction or demand of the body, then it's being influenced by the senses. If it's a desire to want to surrender to Krishna and serve Krishna and Krishna's devotees, then that's spiritual desire. That's coming from soul. So we can understand by the desire itself whether that's for the pleasure of Krishna and Krishna's devotees, or whether it's for our own personal selfish or extended selfish desire for sense gratification.
Thank you very much.
What's the goal? What's the consciousness and what's the goal? Then we can determine whether it's spiritual or whether it's material, whether it's coming from Krishna or coming from Maya. Thank you for your questions. Sarab, are you alive? You're surrounded by the cowherd ladies. Little skinny guy from Bihar. It's like in the, sometimes you have a little skinny cow. You just hope they don't work the cow too hard, I hope they're feeding you. Any other thing? Oh, yes. Hare Krishna.
He's also Surab.
Hare Krishna, pranam.
Is another Sarab?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. With the mustache.
আমার প্রশ্নটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা গুরুদেবকে সন্তুষ্ট করার জন্য চেষ্টা করি, তো আমরা বুঝতে পারি না যে গুরুদেব কি আমাদের উপরে সন্তুষ্ট আছেন কি না। তো আমরা কি কখনো গুরুদেবকে এই প্রশ্ন করতে পারি যে গুরুদেব আপনি কি আমার উপরে সন্তুষ্ট আছেন?
He's asking that I want to know whether my spiritual master is happy, satisfied with me or not. So to know this about the answer for this question, shall I go and ask the spiritual master or not?
How do you translate it?
I do not understand.
More or less like this only, that he's trying to please spiritual master, but he doesn't know exactly. So he's asking, should he go and ask that if you are pleased with me or not?
That's a loaded question, isn't it? Should I give you the short version or the long version? Do you have unflinching faith that instruction from the Guru came from Krishna?
Yes.
You do? So you have, and you are dedicated to follow those instructions?
অনেক কঠিন বিষয়।
Very difficult
subject.
It's a difficult subject? Well, how do you think I feel answering it? It's a difficult subject. That's what I was thinking when you asked the question, because it's not an easy answer. So now my questions are trying to get to find out how we can try to easily understand you so that we can answer the question properly. So do you have unflinching faith? You said you have unflinching faith in the instructions, that it came from Krishna through the Guru?
এটা আমার বিশ্বাস আছে, কিন্তু নিজেকে আমি খুব অযোগ্য মনে করি যে এটা খুব শক্ত কাজ, আমি নিজেকে অযোগ্য মনে করি।